Alright, everyone. My name is Abhishek, and today we will try. I'll try to discuss something very basic about combinatorics. Okay, this is for whom will this be useful? Let's just say if you're in class 11 or 12, any board, you know any medium, I think this will be useful. So let's start. What I'll try to discuss will be not very long, but I'll try to keep it short, but this will be impactful, useful. First of all, there is something like this. Like there's something called the product rule of counting. Product rule of counting. What does really product rule of counting tell us? That suppose we have a job, like a big job. Okay, J is a big job, and then we break this job into sub jobs, like so that we have J2, J3, Jn jobs, say, and suppose J1 can be completed in one way, not in one way, but T1 ways. This can be completed in T2 ways. This can be completed in T3 ways, and so on. This can be completed in Tn ways. Okay. So what does product rule really tell us? That if 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 the job J is completed only when all the subjobs from J1 to Jn are also completed. Mane you will be done with this job only when you are done with all of these jobs. Okay? If this is such a job, if J is such a job where you are done with all these jobs, only then you are said to be done with that job. Then the number of ways to do job J is basically T1 into T2 into T3 Tn. So the number of ways to do the entire job is basically the product of the subjobs, product of the number of ways you can do the subjobs. Simple, very simple. Okay, let's jump into some example, very short example. Suppose you have a function like from a to b. So this is you have 4 elements here. You have suppose you say you have 5 elements here. Now what is the total number of functions here? You will see these kind of questions a lot coming up. Very easy. Okay, so look, for this element, how many elements on the B set does this element have a chance to map with? This element, how many, listen very carefully, how many elements on the B set does this element on the A set have a choice to map with? The answer is 5. Why? Because this can map with this can also map with this, also. So five choices. But any one, it will definitely map with any one, but it has 5 choices. How many elements does this element have a choice with of? Simple, again 5. This can map with this, or this may map with this, or this may map with this, or this may map with this, and so on. The same with this 5, and this is also 5. Now look, why have I brought up this example? Because this example is exactly using this principle, the principle of product rule. And what was the product rule? The product rule was telling us that, look, okay, I have all these jobs, I have this big job, and this job is broken down into these several subjobs, n subjobs. What is the big job here? The big job here is to make the function. So the job here is to make the function. Make the function. What are the subjobs? Subjobs is to map each element with another element on the B set. Map each element on A with element on B. This is the subjobs. How many subjobs do we have? The number of elements on A, that is exactly the number of subjobs we have of J. So the number of elements is basically 4. How many ways can you map this element to that? 5, 5, 5. So the total number of functions is basically 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. That is something around, I don't know, but it is 5 power 4. Okay, so this is basically using product rule. That is the reason why we multiply all of them. Because why? Because it is told to us by product rule. Product rule told us that we must multiply them. Okay, don't add them, but multiply them. Why? Because we because all these things must be done, right? All of them should be mapped. Correct? Like what I'm talking about is this. Like if we have an element here, like A, B, C, D. A function is x, y, z, t. A function is only like this should be mapped. This should also be mapped somewhere. This should also be mapped to somewhere. This should also be mapped to someone else. Okay. Only then it is a function. This is only then it is a function. This is not a function. Like this is mapped to this. This is mapped to this. Suppose. This thing is not a function. Not a function. Why is this not a function? Because look, this element right here is not doing any work. Everyone has to do some work. Everyone has to do exactly one work. That is the idea of function, right? So this is not even a function. This is a function. So every job must be done. Product rule is telling us what? That every subjob must be done. Only then it can be taken into product rules case. Okay, this is something. Okay, so that's all about it. I think that was product rule for you. Thank you.